If you
Thank
walked
you for
away
tuning
today,
in this time
could
on
your product
Disrupt
still sell
and Discuss
without your
podcast.
daily involvement?
Absolutely.
All right. And why is that?
Welcome to Disrupt and Discuss with your hosts, E and KayCee. A Blue Shade Ventures production brought to you by Just E TV and My Herba by the Fitness Collective. Now, without any further ado, disrupt and discuss.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome back to Disrupt and Discuss. I am E.
And I am KayCee.
And together we are called what?
D&D.
D&D. Whichever one you want to call us. Today, you guys, we have another one. We are closing out our entrepreneurial type of our series on entrepreneurship, content creation, and social media influencer. We're putting a little bow on all of this. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed the series that we had. This is the fifth installment and the final installment. I hope you enjoyed all the episodes that we provided for you guys. Let us know in the comments always. So, whether you're selling products, filming content, or influencing the culture, there comes a point where you got to ask, do I pivot? Do I pause? Or do I adios? Do I exit? And if so, how do you do it without losing yourself or your income? That's what we're going to get into today. So the episode, the right now, what the title is called, Exit Plans, Evolution, What's Next After the Grind? What's next? What's next, KayCee?
But it all depends on what you want to do. Like I said, some people are saying, screw it, this isn't what I want. And I know that for myself, when I started, it was like, hey, you have your own business. And I immediately thought, yeah, having my own business, make money. And it
Mhm.
doesn't happen, not for everyone. Yeah, so there's always an outlier out there, but it takes time.
Right.
It
It does.
definitely takes time. I've been doing this going on 7 years now. Some people get disillusioned and they're like, "Screw this," or some like to scale up
Mhm.
because they don't wanna do specifically what they used to do, and they wanna do less, but they want more of doing less. So
Right.
it can go in different ways.
Okay. If we had to talk about it from because we've been breaking this down, entrepreneur, content creator, social media person. And I always look to KayCee, you guys, because she is the entrepreneur. She
You
is,
look up to KayCee? Really?
I look up to KayCee. Yes, because she has entered into a space where I've always been interested and vice versa.
Yep,
She's interested in this side, I'm interested in her side. And so feed off of each other with information. And so
exactly.
with this entrepreneurial side of the exit strategy, right? We had an example, but we can utilize KayCee for this example. The question is, if you walked away today, could your product still sell without your daily involvement?
Absolutely.
All right. And why is that?
First of all, it's the people I've put in place. More specifically, like I have my products are on Amazon.
Mhm.
And I have a team of people that are very familiar with the ins and outs of Amazon and how it all works. So deep into that, I can't even begin to scratch the surface. So I I depend on them.
Mhm.
I meet with them, but I'm not the face of my herba. I'm the owner, but that's
Right.
about the extent of it. And yeah, in my sleep, it's literally making money.
In your sleep. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the goal for some people. Some people may love the hands on approach. They want to make the candle, design the artwork for the candle, package it, and ship it out themselves. They're the sole creator, they're the sole person doing everything. Some
The
people like
one-man
that.
band, yeah.
One man band.
Yeah.
But then there are some people who jumped into this with their eyes just in la la land. Oh, I'm going to do this. I love this. This is how I want to. I'm starting my business. They have this passion. And then they experience burnout.
Right.
This is too much. I can't sustain this for another 5 to 6 years. So when you get to that point, I think that's what KC did with her company. That's where it can, that's what you want to get to, where you find people, like she says, you put people in place, you develop a team, you develop people who can create your business to where it is running by itself, to where she can go to bed, she can watch TV, she can go to Japan, and it still moves without
Right.
her. Maybe she may have to click a button or approve something, but it still operates without her being in the thick of it 24/7. She can still
Right, and
enjoy her
and
life.
and to that point, was in it for a while,
Mhm,
and I knew that I didn't wanna do that, like you said, long term. It's great when you see orders come through and then you're packing them like we had said in previous episodes, and you're going down to the post office box and you're dropping them off, but what if you wanna go on vacation? What if you are out with your family, you wanna take a few days to go do stuff and orders come in? Now, depending on the software that you use, you can set your like I use Shopify, for example, you can set it to be on vacation in a sense. So
mhm,
you are essentially getting orders in, but you're not fulfilling them.
right.
So that's money that you're leaving on the table for the most part. What I have, and most people know about it, is FBA. So I have my stuff being shipped out of Amazon. So even if you come to my website
Mhm,
and you place an order, I get notified that I have an order from my website, but then I hit a button and I just have it processed through Amazon.
mhm,
So you're still that's all the back-ended stuff that goes on, but it frees you up to where you can do other things on a business level. You can start doing other things to help enhance your business so you're not caught in the weeds just posting ads or fulfilling orders. And again, they all go part and parcel and they're all very integral for what you need to do, but at the same time you can't do that all the time. You have to be able to scale up and you have meetings, you have other things you need to do. You don't want to be bogged down with the daily. I definitely am appreciative of all that I get, but then I need to be able to scale it to take it to a different level. And that just means you have to be an entrepreneur, not a worker, but an entrepreneur. And
right.
that's what it is, basically.
Absolutely. And that's, to me, that's smart. You would want to look at it like this, unless you're just a novice. So if you're just doing this as a hobby, you retired, and you do this because it keeps you going for whatever then this is not the conversation for you. We're not forcing anybody to scale. We're not forcing anybody to open a business. We're saying, s- just for instance, if your product took off or there's a demand for your product, this is what you could do, how you started out, and this is where you could take it if you chose to. No pressure. You
And,
love
what if
wrapping stuff up and driving on down to FedEx and fulfilling order. Hey,
right,
not gonna
right.
stop you.
And even like for an example, you and I were talking earlier, if you have a candle business,
Mhm.
for example, and just like what we said, you no longer want to, whether you're making the candles or doing all of that, packaging them up, but you want to exit.
Yes.
But you
Yes.
still want to keep it, but you still want to exit at the same time. So this is where you need to level up and reevaluate your business. And some people would possibly prefer to, I don't know, instead of doing the individuals and selling, what is it, business to business or
Yes.
customer to business, you
Yes.
wanna do a wholesale, you wanna
B2C.
be a whole yes, you wanna be a wholesaler and sell to other companies and have them sell your product. So that's a whole 'nother ball of wax as opposed to just selling to the individual customer.
Exactly. You're doing wholesale or bulking. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. So that's it. These are just things to think about if you're stuck or you don't know, you didn't plan this out, right? Because Casey, we were talking and you were saying 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you didn't plan this out. You didn't do all this type of planning. This came what? The last what? 2 years? 3 years?
Yeah, I think the last 2 years is when I got even more serious with
Mhm.
it. The first year was more or less getting your logo, getting the basic stuff down, but then after a while, you're like, "Okay, I need to focus on this more." I didn't have tons of money, but I didn't have the finances to really get a team together. I had to do trial and error. So then there was a year where I really didn't do a whole heck of a lot of anything. I was just burnt. Here we go, burnt because you're trying to do everything, you're trying to think of everything.
Right.
So then I think probably within the last 2.5, maybe, yeah, 2 years, 2.5 years, really said, okay, this is going to either work or it's not. And just, as they would say, balls to the wall, and just really got serious about it. And
And
yeah,
here's the outcome. She's in the thick of it. Let's just say that.
but I have a lot of people who have navigated me through the thick of it as
Yeah.
well. And that's why when you and I talk about entrepreneurship, I'm just like, I just
Right.
spill out everything, because if I could help at least somebody not have to go
Yes.
through everything. And that's one thing I don't like, is other entrepreneurs that just talk about, "Oh, I made it." And they're
Right.
not being, as we had said before, really open and honest. So you can choose how deep you wanna go with it. I basically started a business from the ground. And they always say for somebody to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a little crazy. And I agree, because it's not the easiest thing to do, but yet I'm still here.
Absolutely. And I appreciate our talks, and she doesn't know it, but I do appreciate the blah of it all. But she would not, I'm just gonna say that she would not have done the blah if she did not see some type of grind in me. So
Right.
we have been walking, hiking for a couple of years, and we've said some things back and forth here or there about us, about what we were doing, but we kept it impersonal about business
Mhm.
ventures, right?
Mhm.
Then I started seeing her, she started seeing me, and we were like, "Hey, you're actually
Boing, yang,
doing
yang,
what
yang,
you
yang.
right, you're actually doing what you said you do." So when she says that she wants to give back and she's not trying to gatekeep, I totally
Mm-mm.
get that, but
Mm-mm.
she's also saying she's not just giving this information to any and everybody, because some people just you can talk to someone and they really don't have they're just there. They're not trying to do anything. They're just nosy, want to know what you're doing, but they have no plan, they have no purpose, they haven't started
Right.
anything. So that's to me, that's like a waste of time
Or
as
the
opposed to
Yep.
talking to someone who you see them doing and say, "Hey, I have some knowledge and I can help you." That's
Yeah.
different.
I think a lot of times, sometimes when there's people that overanalyze everything, folks that have, as I always say, analysis paralysis, I have to make sure that doesn't happen with me when I do stuff. Typically, if I have to analyze it that much, then I'm not ready to do it. So
Right.
I've learned that much about myself. And sometimes I'll have a little bit of information. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Sometimes that has backfired. But then sometimes it's been the best thing and the scariest thing at the same time. And that old saying, scared money don't make money.
Right.
And you are flying by the seat of your pants. And some things are really scary. And you're right, I don't share a lot of my information to just anybody. If we're all on the same page and we're all doing the same thing. Even if you were still doing a supplement company, I'm not gonna not tell you what I know, because
Right.
first of all, like I had said before, I follow a few different beauty influencers, and how much blush, eyeliner, and eyeshadow can you possibly talk about? But
Right.
there are 3 different people that are bringing 3 different things to the table. So, I don't feel that you're gonna steal something from me, so I'm not gonna tell you. And again, you
Exactly.
might not take the same route as I take. So again,
Exactly.
we might have a different outcome, or you might take the same road and it might not work for you.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I can't be worried about that. I always believe that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, what goes around comes around. That's a good way and a bad way. And again, I've had a tremendous amount of help to get to where I am right now. So all I can do is just pave it forward. What you do with it is your business. But again, if I see people that just, yeah, okay, then when you get it together, let me know. I don't care. I'm going to still do what I got to do.
Exactly. I love that. Let's talk about the content creator.
Okay.
So give an example of here's an example of a YouTube podcast or host that has about 5,000 subs. And so I like to give these examples because people may say that's not a lot of followers, but it actually is. And you can create a community, you can create organic growth, and you can have your group of people, kind of like your tribe, so to speak. They're
Hmm.
just 5,000 subs. You don't have to be 100,000, 500,000, like we said before, unless you want the plaque. So some people just want the plaque. If you want the plaque, then you need to hit 100K, but you can still be viable and have a presence on YouTube with even 1,000 subscribers. It's all in how you maneuver on here. But let's take the example of a 5,000 sub count YouTube podcast,
Hmm.
and they turn most of her interviews into an audio course. She may have a channel that is talking about, let's say, makeup, and she turns it into a video course and she's teaching you how to do makeup. That's an example of evergreen content.
Oh, okay. I
I
never
can
heard of that before, but
Yeah. Evergreen content is when you take information, or you can take your videos that you create,
mhm.
that it can be a tutorial, it can be a how to, it can be educational, anything like that, that is it's forever, it can forever be utilized. You see a lot of that on YouTube where, you want to learn how to put on eyeshadow. I can see a smoky eye. I can see smoky eyes from 15 years ago on
Right.
YouTube. It's an evergreen content.
Mhm.
It's a classic, but there's so many different people who have done that classic smoky eye. So it's evergreen. And every time you click on it, that person gets a view. So they created it 15 years ago, but still getting views today, as an example. Also, I can use an example of some of my videos where I create smoothies and I create the powders to put in my smoothies. That's evergreen. So if somebody types in smoothie or fruit smoothie or fresh fruit smoothie or a green smoothie, those types of keywords will bring up my video. It's evergreen. It's not changing. I can upgrade it. I can make it better, but it's out there for the masses. I made it 3 years ago, but you can still go to it. That's evergreen content. So those are just some examples of creating evergreen content. But this person, you can take that. She created courses. She created a playlist for people to utilize, how to do your lips, how to do your eyes, how to put on foundation. That's a playlist. That's an evergreen playlist. And so from that channel, she can still earn on it, especially if it's been monetized. If it's been monetized, look up YouTube guidelines for monetization, but Google can put ads on that forever. You can also attach affiliate links. It can, she can still be making money as she sleeps by people viewing it. So those are the type of things when you deal with content creation, that it helps you to create that type of content, not just always shock value, dealing with or making content with regards to what's happening today or celebrity gossip. That stuff will go away. That stuff is old. But things like this, you can definitely utilize, you can definitely create, and it will still be useful. I'll give another example, cooking, people who cook.
Mhm.
Always looking, Thanksgiving,
Oh, I
you're
bet.
always looking for something, who has dressing or who knows how to make mac and cheese. You make something like it's evergreen content. So you want to look at those are ways that you can constantly, if you want to utilize your content as a way of creating a business that can sustain, and you're not just on here for shits and giggles. You actually have a plan with regards
Mhm.
to your channel. This is a way that you can create a channel to where it can sustain itself and pay you throughout your time. You could stop making videos and you would probably still get hits on your videos because it's viable and people are looking for content like this. You're turning your videos into essentially something viable for people to consume on a regular basis.
Basically timeless.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's evergreen content. It's timeless. It's always going to be useful. Somebody's always looking for something like that.
Right.
Workout videos are the same. So they're just popping off my head now, cooking, workout, makeup. There's so many different things. If you're a math tutor, making math videos about basic math or foundational pre-algebra, those are all timeless things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember looking up some stuff, like, with my car, certain little nuances. I wanted to do this, and the
Yes.
owner's manual, either you have to download it or it's so thick. It's that's a Bible. So I just go to YouTube and I say, "Okay, what I wanted to do," and then it'll pull up maybe 4 or 5 videos for whatever I need to do with my car. Yep.
Absolutely. And if you have a late edition car, a 2010 or 2005, you just put in that year
Yep.
and
I
whoop,
put in the
here it
exact
goes.
model of the car.
Yeah, that's evergreen content. So have you built a content library that could live and earn without you? I could say I did, but I took it down.
You took it
I took it
down.
I took it down. I took it down temporarily, but I can say with Just Believe, that is evergreen content as well. Let
Okay.
me just add this, the prayers and affirmations. That's evergreen content.
Oh, timeless for sure.
Timeless. I've gotten hits on some of my videos because of that. So a prayer can be timeless. Affirmations can be timeless. Devotionals are timeless. So I would say, yes, I have built a catalog or a library of something that could be timeless. And that's my biggest channel. It will definitely be timeless for sure. Let's look at social media influencers. So, an example of an IG fashion influencer with 80K followers knew she didn't want to post forever because that is your job essentially, posting brands and creating aesthetic content. She decided she wanted to pivot by launching an influencer mentorship program, teaching others how to negotiate brand deals and grow their IG. And I see a lot of young girlies that do this who have been doing this for some years. They have been successful in creating IG reels and TikToks, and they've made money. They have converted that into let me mentor you and show you how to do what I did. When a brand approaches you and wants you to review their product or make a reel for their product, how to negotiate that deal. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? So, this is what she decided to do. She doesn't want to do this forever. So, now she's going to teach it. She's going to mentor people. She's going to create a class so she can teach what she learned. And then you can also take this, believe it or not, content creation or being a social media influencer. You can be a brand manager, a social media marketer. There's so many different avenues that you can take within doing this and learning this. You can take it back into the 9 to 5 if you chose to. So there's ways you can do that. But if you don't want to do a 9 to 5, you can stay out here. You can become a coach. You can create a
Mhm.
digital product and you can work with brands and collab with brands and give them insight, based on because now you know how to read analytics. Now you know what works, what doesn't work, how to market. You can utilize these skills that you've learned by being out here as a content creator or social media influencer, and you can turn it into profit that way. So you can go back
Right.
into a 9 to 5, or you can create your own thing or negotiate consults with companies.
Well, I know a lot of times people look at social media stuff and they just want to show up.
Mhm.
But if you know someone that knows the analytics, how to read them, how to position your stuff, I think that is definitely a niche that people can fit into if that's their thing. Because,
If
like I
that's
said, you are more the analytical person than I am with
right.
this. I'm working on it. I'm trying. But, you know,
Yes. Yes, she is. She's like, okay, what does that mean? Okay, but she's learning it. So I love it. I
and
know.
I'll
I
just
know.
leave it at that.
Okay. So when your face is the brand,
Yeah.
what happens when you're tired of being on camera? That's what you want to consider. This is if you have that question when you're tired of turning on that video camera and you're tired of creating all these beautiful reels, but those 160-second or 90-second reels, do you know how much content you have to create and then chop it down to 90 seconds?
I've noticed when you said that there are certain influencers that have looked at over the years, and they don't make much content as much as they used to because they've done it for so long.
Mhm.
And to what you're saying, they've got that evergreen
Yes.
content out there. But the first one of the main people that comes to mind, for example, is Patrick Starr. He
Mm.
was out there all the time. I
Yes.
don't see him as not that I don't follow him, I just don't see him as much, but he's got a whole new makeup line. It's not brand new because 'cause it's been out for a minute, but I've
Right.
heard nothing but good things about it. But you see his line,
Yes.
but again, before he used to do a lot of videos. So I think he's now also getting into more the skincare of things because I think he's going to school to be an esthetician. I could be totally
Hmm.
wrong on that, but I know he's doing some other stuff besides just being in front of the camera. So again, as far as making money as they sleep, his brand is through the roof.
His brand, his name,
Mhm.
who doesn't know who he is? If you love makeup or you put on makeup, you know who that is.
Right, and now his face is out of the limelight somewhat, but
Mhm.
then you see he has his makeup line. So he's transitioning, if you will, to do other stuff.
Right. And that's a great example because Patrick Starr he's been out. He almost was her name, Jackie.
I
What?
know
These
he's
are
been out there for a long time.
forever. So those folks, they have the catalog.
And there's another one too, Nikki Tutorials. I don't know if
Oh,
you've seen her. She does makeup, but then she also does theatrical stuff as well. So
okay.
again, that's another content creator, beauty content creator that talks lipstick, blush, eyeliner, but then she has a niche to where she for the holidays, she
Mhm.
might do a pumpkin face.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, she's good. She can really do a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's again, it's learning how to separate yourself with the same stuff. So what
Right.
sets all these 4 people apart that I watch, they all bring something different.
Right. They all bring something different, and let's be honest, the last 2 that we just mentioned, they are huge, and so they grinded for years,
Years. I know Patrick
years.
was he worked for was it Mac, I think it
Yeah.
was? Yeah. And Jackie, I think, worked for Mac. She also was
Was
like
it
a
Mac or
makeup
Amazing?
artist,
Yeah,
but she was doing it too.
and they grinded, meaning videos, IG, before there was TikTok, IG, they were
And
putting up
before it was
videos all the
popular
time.
as well.
Right. They started a long time ago when it was easier to it was a YouTube was a different place then. So, yeah, they definitely
Yeah.
got in and at a great time.
Yeah. I always think it's like easy but hard. It was a new forum.
Mhm.
So anything goes. You can make your mistakes or what have you.
Yes.
People were looking, not looking, and now they're at the top of their game and it's easy, but now I think it's even harder. So if that makes any sense, when they were doing it, people didn't know. So you had to get your name out there and you're making all those mistakes and they refine themselves and everything now. And sky's the limit. I mean, she's got candles and something else. I want to say it's a fragrance, but I know for sure she's got
I
candles.
know her candles, yeah. I didn't know she
And
had
I got a couple of them before and they smell great.
mm. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out because I love candles. Mm,
Yeah, well, hers have a really good smell.
okay. Well, that's hopefully you guys take something from that.
So
I wanted to just segue into they're big, but we're talking about smaller people. Smaller people can do this too, meaning
absolutely.
micro creators with less than what they have. It's just all about creating that community, creating that communication, building your people, responding in your comments or providing that atmosphere. And you can do that too on a micro level. You can still make money at the micro level. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands
Oh,
of subscribers.
absolutely, absolutely. Because I
Yeah.
know with my product I'm sorry, when I would have influencers do spots and promos for my products, I didn't go to the big ones, I did the micro
Yes.
influencers, and I
Absolutely.
specifically did that, and one of the things I feel too is it's not necessarily quantity, it's quality.
Yes, it's
The
quality.
funny thing is some of the influencers that I've had to promote my product, I actually became friends with them. Whereas if you had a big name person, you're not gonna get that close.
They're not checking for you.
You're going through their person to do that. You might not even talk to them at all. But
Exactly.
a couple of them I've actually had conversations with and we actually get along. So you just never know where things go.
I love that. A nice way to end that segment. Now we're gonna talk about pivot or perish. Reinvention in real time. Pivot or perish. Yes.
Wow.
I know. Staying the same forever isn't sustainable. It may be for some. If you're not looking at this, if it's just a hobby, none the stay where you are. But
Right.
if you're not looking at it as a hobby, staying the same isn't sustainable. But how do you shift without losing everything? How do you do that as an entrepreneur? Or how do you think you do that as an entrepreneur?
You definitely got to plan your exit. I mean, even if you're going to close up shop, I have cohorts that have had businesses and we all have this community on Facebook. Some have said, folks, I've tried and they've said, we can't sustain this. So one person found a 9 to 5 and they went back to that and they let their business go. It
Wow.
was like a coffee shop thing. But again, they had to make the decision to either pivot and do things differently to promote their business or perish. And the thing is, it's I don't want people to think of it as a failure because sometimes what you get into, it just might not be your thing. It might not be the season. It might not be the niche, but one piece of what you did can turn into something else that you never thought could have happened. The person I'm talking about, they actually went back to a 9 to 5 and they made contacts there and they were able to salvage at least part of their business and they're working on it that way. So it perished in a way, but then there was a rebirth of another thing.
So a rebirth.
Yeah,
Hmm. There are ways to pivot, you guys.
things that you never thought of. Like I said, my thing was to be into health and fitness. It was going to be like an influencer of sorts with videos and stuff. COVID happened and knocked that shit right out the park.
And I
Period.
remember you talking about when we were on the hikes. That,
Yeah.
yep, that content because you were looking to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you were looking to compete. I remember that. And you
And
wanted
a
to
day in the
chronologue it.
life and all
Right,
this kind of stuff.
right.
COVID shut all that down. It's opened back up. But again, I made a pivot, did a show, but it wasn't for a figure. It was powerlifting. And I didn't see that coming.
Exactly.
Natural, still the natural thing. But again, I was not planning that.
So would you say you have to be open to
You have to,
you have to be open
you
to
have,
would you say adaptable?
yes,
You have to be adaptable, and meaning you can't just look at one way of doing things. Sometimes that way doesn't work. So you have to learn how to pivot. You have to learn how to be, what do they say, malleable, where you
yes,
can bend a little bit. Can't just be like, "Ugh, this is what I'm doing and that's it." Hopefully, people, you're listening to this and maybe that's an epiphany for you. Don't just stay stuck in one mindset. Sometimes that pivot may, like she said, come back and revamp what you had, but maybe it wasn't the season for it at the time. Yeah.
that's why it's my Herba by the Fitness Collective, because that was what the whole fitness thing was going to be. But then we started my Herba. So it's another branch of the fitness tree, health and wellness fitness tree, basically, is what it is.
Love that. I love that. Okay. Well, let's look at it from the content creator,
Yeah.
that content creator perspective. So let's say a story time creator, right? Was
Hmm.
tired of being boxed into drama. And if you don't know what a story time creator is, these are people who get on here and pretty much story time, something about their life, something that happened in the past, something that happened that day. Some people go live right in the thick of it, and it's a story time.
Right.
So this person was, they got tired of being boxed in the drama. They got tired of doing story times, or maybe they just ran out of stuff to talk about. That could be. And they didn't want to make it up. So that person rebranded into lifestyle and wellness content for
Hmm.
women. So she lost a lot of subs, right? Because they were used to, we talked about this sometimes when you box yourself into drama or beef, when you no longer create that type of content, you will lose people. Let
Right.
alone don't be in the beef and then you decide to go the spiritual route. Oh, they ain't dealing with you no more. What?
Oh, you're out. You're out
Okay.
completely.
What? Oh, you done found God? God. You don't want to talk mess no more. Okay. They follow. So that's what happened to this person. Unsubbed, unfollowed. So she lost those, but she gained brand deals. She gained brand deals and aligned herself with growth. How did she gain brand deals? Because she pivoted. She pivoted from, she changed her format from being panel shows and talking ish or telling story times to being a more solo commentator. Started a new niche. So instead of parenting or drama, now she's doing empty nester types of stuff. She's talking
Mhm.
about being an empty nester. She doesn't have kids. She doesn't have these story times talking about her kids, talking about her family. She's an empty nester now. So change that. So she lost some folks. They weren't with her for the ride, but then she gained new subscribers. She gained brand opportunities, collaborations, and a new community. And that community did better than when she was in her story time and drama. So you have to look at these pivots. Some people can't take the pivot. Some people, they're used to all these people in their chat commenting or sending super chats for drama. And then when they pivot and that stops,
Super chats.
super chats. Yes, super
God.
chats.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
What is that? When
Yeah.
you are monetized you can get super chats when you go live, meaning people
Obviously, you
can
can tell I'm not monetized, but
right,
okay.
right? They send you money. They can send you money. And sometimes a lot of these beef channels or drama channels, they love that type of stuff. So they'll send money and talk ish with
Mhm.
you, sending you so they can elaborate or join in on the conversation. So some people can't take losing that money, that short term money. And so they go back to their old way because they're not, oh, I'm not getting that money anymore. And that may be because they didn't budget right. They're spending it as soon as they make it. So if you
Mhm.
don't have a nest egg, then, when you're transitioning or pivoting, then that may be a shock to you. Or I'm not getting that money anymore. Or people unsubscribe to me. I don't have as many members anymore and I'm not getting that income. So they go back to what they're used to because they need to.
Yeah.
But this person didn't. They decided to stay the course and they ended up getting something greater, something bigger. So you can look at it like that. Pivot instead of perishing because you could perish, you could not want to continue and just shut down your channel
Right.
or go back to your old ways and do the same thing, which what do they call that? Insanity? Yeah. So she decided not to be insane. She decided to stay the course, keep with her new channel, and ended up reaping the rewards of it. So that's a way of changing, transitioning, but you sometimes you have to stay that course in order to see the completeness of that transition. If you waver or go back, turn back, well, I don't want to get biblical. I'm not going to get biblical. But if you
Please.
turn back, yeah, don't turn back and you say the course, then you will not perish. Right? You won't perish. Message. Lot's wife. I'm just going to use it like that. There we
Okay.
go. There we go. Now let's look at what do you have anything to add to that,
No,
Casey?
I can't go behind that one.
Can't go behind that one. All
No.
right. What about this one? Social media influencer. How about that? Mommy influencer, 20K TikTok. We see those all the time. Mommy TikTok. Lord have mercy. Followers. She had 20K followers on TikTok. Transition from diaper aids to self-care and skincare tips. She reached out to new brands directly, pitched her evolving audience, and landed a long-term wellness campaign. Again, pitching, pivoting, picking up something else. She
Right.
updated her media with new brand categories. She shifted her platform. And you introduced me to this new one, the Substack. And then building a personal brand that outlives any one trend. So by her pivoting from her mommy TikTok to
Mhm.
more of a skincare, self-care, that evergreen content. A lot of
Right.
if you see the resounding theme here is that evergreen content instead of doing content that may not last or maybe trendy, switching from trendy to evergreen.
There's different influencers that I look at and you grow with them, if that makes
Mhm,
any sense,
mhm.
to where you go through the pregnancy with them, then they have the kids, and then now there's this it mushrooms into now dealing with the kids on a whole. Then there's times when they go to middle school and high school. There have been people around that long to
Yes,
where it's, God, how long have you been doing this? But the only thing that we're pivoting, they need to have something separate. There's one influencer, my bestie and I, we don't even say the name because I don't want it to come up on my algorithm. We
right.
used to really love this particular makeup influencer. The moment she had a child, the child became the focus as she's talking about it when she's putting on her blush, when she's putting on her lipstick. It really irritated the hell out of me because I'm not unkid friendly.
Right.
Well, but if I'm looking at you to do something, I don't care about what's going on in the background. I don't care about the dog. I don't care about the kids. I wanted to see what you were talking about. And then she always had to have a reason to throw that in there. I thought it was just me. And then once she and I were talking and just, yeah, that's getting on my nerves too. So we pretty much unfollowed her. But then my bestie follows this other lady, and I can't remember the name, but she does hair all the time. And then she had a child and everything, but she made a separate channel to where she focuses on that. So if you want to see that side of her, here you go. But
Absolutely.
she's still doing the hair stuff. And that's even like on some TV shows. They'll have a couple and then they're funny. The banter goes back and forth. Then the minute they have a kid to up ratings, I'm like, I'm out of here. That's not what I wanted to see. So you have to be careful between blending versus pivoting to a different channel because you can still lose people by doing that,
That is so
you
true.
know? So,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
love that example because you do, and the great thing that you just said, she created another channel. So if you wanna see
absolutely.
that side of her, then you go to that channel, but this channel is strictly for makeup. There's another lady that I watch that I love her stuff, and she did that because she was more hauls, makeup,
Mhm.
fashion, beauty hauls, fashion hauls, and things of that nature, but she also loves to work out, and she loves to meal prep. So she had it all on one page, but she started listening to her people, looking at the analytics, and she separated the 2.
Yeah.
And that's a smart thing to do. And I myself did the same thing with my content for Just ETV and then my devotionals because the
Mhm.
analytics said those folks are here for your devotionals.
Absolutely.
That 30,000 K channel, they just want to hear prayers, devotionals, affirmation. They don't want to see tap in. They don't want to see it's just ETV. I got a lot of hits, but the bulk of those folks were there for that. So I had to finally listen and
Mhm.
separate.
And that's why I said the whole analytic thing, if you can find somebody that really likes and knows how to do that,
Right.
that's exactly where that comes into play because you have even with us, you've looked at it and go, "Look, this ain't working. We
Right.
we need to shift, we pivot. Here we go."
Yes.
And start doing it a different way. And that makes a big difference.
Exactly. Yeah. Disrupt and discuss. Yeah. Our format has changed. We've only been here not even a year, but we've changed like twice our
Mhm. Mhm.
formatting style because
Mhm.
of the analytics. And we've seen a lot of growth. So, yes, you have to understand how to pivot or perish for
Yep.
sure. For sure. So, our last segment here, we're going to talk about legacy, licensing, and longevity. So, that is the theme right now. So, whether you want to leave something behind or simply leave with peace, this segment is all about the long game of thinking about where is this where does this end or do you transfer it over? We're going to talk about that. Let's break down the entrepreneur.
Just one of the things as we're talking about leaving legacy, if you want to, what is it? A lot of people create businesses that they can pass down to their families and make it more of a family business. And then there's those that not only are they doing that, but they like to donate to various charities. So that also is bringing in their legacy, based what matters to the customer. So within your business, then hey, you know different. I've even heard of different businesses. Hey, we give X amount of dollars to this charity because we feel strongly about it for A, B, and C reason. So not only do you have this brand or this business that you are building followers, you're building customers, you're building to where they believe in you and they stand for the same things you do. Now you're also expanding that by your donation philanthropy that gets
Mhm.
part of that as well. You're constantly building, as you would say, 7 layers to this taco salad, if you will,
Right.
all these different facets. And I know that a lot of people they're getting when they get older, then they go, "Hey, I'm building this for my children." And as you're getting up there with your business, sometimes the children come in and you weave them in, and they have a different way of wanting to do things. So they might even take your business to a different level. Hopefully, it's to a different level and not to the ground. You're constantly building upon that. Some people want to sell their business. You have these serial entrepreneurs and they like selling their businesses. Hey, I build it, I sell it. I build it, I sell it. So there's all different types of ways to build your business. You build it,
Correct.
sell it, and hopefully it'll continue even after you've taken a different route. How about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you may not want to stay. There are people who actually create businesses, build them to a certain level, a certain type of monetization or a certain like a million in revenue or 2 million in revenue, right? To sell it to someone else. They created the blueprint and they're happy with selling it off. Somebody approaches them and said, "Hey, we're interested. We like what you're doing." And they sell it off. They don't want to sit on the board or
Yeah,
anything else. They just sell it. They created it to sell it. So,
specifically for that. Like people flipping houses, same thing.
yes.
That's what they
Exactly. Now, some people who maybe they feel it's their baby and they created it and someone approaches them about their baby, and they can't see necessarily separating, but they are willing to sell it, but with the caveat of being able to remain in some type of way, whether it
Correct.
be on the board, or having some type of controlling interest in the company.
Right.
You can't necessarily sell it without them approving it, without them having say in it. There's ways to do that as well. So those are all options for you if that's the route you want to take. Is it your baby? Do you want to remain? You have to negotiate that. I would advise you not negotiating that by yourself. Get you a damn attorney.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
level that I have not gotten to, nor do I see myself getting to that anytime soon, because that's a whole episode on itself on how
yes.
to build your company in preparation for it to be sold.
But
I
I
ain't
would
touching that one.
definitely say consult an attorney. Don't try to do that
Oh,
one on your own.
right out the gate,
Yeah.
there's so many layers to that one.
Yeah.
So many.
Like the video that we aired today, where I talked about the young lady who had the sauce and she ended up essentially selling her company to someone else. She signed on the dotted line, not reading it or anything, and they ended up buying it out from underneath her. So it still kept her
Mm.
name, her likeness, but it wasn't hers anymore. And she was getting literally pennies on the dollar.
That's it. Unfortunately, there's too many stories like that, but the
Right.
one that's even harder was the whole thing with Famous Amos.
Yes.
And I don't know if you ever saw him on Shark Tank, but that was hard to watch.
No,
80
I didn't
years
see him on
old.
Shark Tank. Huh.
This was years ago because he has since passed away. I think he was 80 years old, still doing cookies, came out with another cookie brand, and he presented it to the panel, and they couldn't do it. It was actually pretty painful to watch. You need an attorney to do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
You really do. It's the
You
fine prints, or as you said, with the devil in the
Devil in
details that'll get you.
details. Yep, will get you every time.
Mhm.
Let's look at it from a content creator perspective, far as legacy moves, because some people don't even think of this as creating a legacy, but you actually are. This is your digital body of work. That's why some people
Yeah.
say what you put on here will be here forever. Can't delete anything off of the internet. You can try, but somebody has downloaded
Yep.
your content, whether you like it or not. So
Mm.
this is your legacy. So what are you going to do with it? There's options for you. You can create like a content vault of your best work. We're going to beat this like a dead horse if you're monetized. So you can put it behind a paywall, especially if you've done really good work. You can put your greatest hits behind a paywall. So if you want to see it, you have to become a member or you have to pay to rewatch or indulge in that content. You can offer
Wow.
teaching or coaching for up and coming creators. So you've been on here, you have some knowledge, so you can provide a knowledge base and you can monetize that. And then there's another part, I'm going to lump this into social media influencer for the sake of time, but using your platform to lift others. And we been doing that a lot. Myself and my other co-host on Tap In,
Mhm.
SBK, we always tell people to put their channels in the chat. We want people to, if you rock with us, if you've been around us and you've been in our live chats, interacting with us, and you have a channel, tell you, put your channel in the chat. Or we have the moderators put their channel in the chat. But we just recently, these two content creators, they had a kind of like a trailer or an intro. It was like 46 seconds. And so we
Mhm.
played it on during our live stream and they thanked us for it. It was nothing for us. We like to share people, obviously people who were like-minded. So we're not just sharing everybody. Okay. If you don't, I'm not putting everybody up, but if you
Right,
have
right.
some type of content that is palatable, that is you're talking about something that could be interesting, and you rock with us. We're also not putting up people who just stroll into the chat and say, "Hey, I'm here. I don't know you. Get to know us, and we will
Right.
share your stuff out." So you can do things like that. Give small creators a platform. That's giving back. We've watched this person, and these people, we've also been on their channels, we've seen their content, and we respect them. So we shout them out, we showed their intro, and we also allow people to provide their channels in our chat. So that's another way of giving back
Yeah.
and creating some type of legacy, providing a launch pad for others. so to speak. So
I
that's a
like
way
that.
of doing things as
I
well.
didn't know you
Yeah.
guys did. That's nice.
Yeah, we just aired it was a visual, but normally we tell people, "Hey, put your stuff in the chat. If you got a channel, you rock with us, put your stuff in the chat." People go subscribe to them. So that's a way of giving back as well. So absolutely. There's ways of creating legacy for yourself. There's ways of creating longevity for yourself if that's what you want on here. I know a lot of people don't look at it that way. A lot of folks are just on here, but it definitely helps to plan and have set goals and aspirations for yourself if you treat this like a business. You definitely want to look at ways of doing that. How can I do that? And hopefully, we've provided ideas for you that maybe you have or have not thought about with regards to all of this. Your exit strategy, what you plan to do. You plan to keep it? Do you plan on creating content or products that can last? Or do you plan on exiting and just shutting it down and, hey, this is it? You have a catalog of really good stuff. You can still keep it up. You don't have to be on her all the time. Think about things like that. Think
Right,
about your
right.
legacy. What matters is, does your work fit your life? Does it fit your aspirations? That's the most important part. So we're not telling you to go out here and enter the grind. Like we said, if you're retired and you're just doing this as a hobby or something to do to keep from doing nothing, sitting up watching TV all the time. This is just a hobby for you, and you're not looking to scale your business. You're not looking to get 1 million followers. You don't want $1 million in the bank. This is not for you. You don't
Right.
even want 250,000 in the bank. This is not for you. Okay?
Right.
Yes, everybody, I want to be a millionaire. Millionaire is not for everyone. Some people are fine with making 250,000, 300,000. They can live their life just fine without
Right.
being a millionaire. So we're talking to people who are create a business looking at creating something, whether it be a product, a digital product, a physical product, those types of things. They may not know that they should plan it out. Don't just rush in. But if you did, like we did, went in head first, didn't plan, we're
Ask
just
questions
showing
later.
you, right? We ask questions later, but here we are just giving you some little things that we learned along the way.
Yep.
That's all. Let us know your future play. We would love to hear from you guys. Are you pivoting? Are you pausing? Are you plotting something new? Drop your story in our comments. Of course, hashtag disrupt in, like in Nancy, discuss. Drop us a comment. Let us know. All right, you guys. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Tiki Barber here. I remember those grueling practices, pushing through fatigue and striving for greatness. Well, that's the same dedication My Herba puts into their supplements. They understand the body's needs. My Herba takes a holistic approach to wellness. Whether it's their sea moss, immune defense, or even sleepy time, they have an option for you. Let My Herba make the best you with code BARBER10 for 10% off at thefitnesscollectif.com.
Now I'm the only person that's doing what I'm doing. I accept that role. I am who I am.